Some stories don't begin with wealth, luck, or perfect timing. They begin with a man at rock bottom, clinging to his last thread of hope. I was that man. A single dad, broken by loss, drowning in bills, fighting every day to keep a promise I made to my little girl, that no matter what, I would never let her feel alone. One morning, with nothing left in my pocket but few dollars, I gave them away to a stranger. I thought it was nothing, but that one act, so small, so ordinary, set in motion a chain of events that would test my pride, my strength, and ultimately change the course of our lives forever. Do you believe a single moment of kindness can rewrite destiny? If yes, like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. The drip from the ceiling woke me before the alarm did. Plip, plip, plip. It was steady, like a cruel reminder that the roof I kept patching with duct tape and prayers was finally giving up on me. I groaned, rubbed my face, and reached over to check my daughter. She was curled on a thin mattress beside mine, her tiny body wrapped in a blanket that had seen better years. Her eyes flicked open, bright but tired. "Morning, Daddy," she whispered, forcing a smile. "Morning, baby." My voice cracked. "You sleep okay?" She nodded, but her stomach betrayed her with a faint growl. She pulled the blanket higher to hide it. "You hungry?" I asked softly. She shook her head. "Not really." That was a lie. She was always hungry these days. I stared at the empty cereal box on the counter, the single slice of bread left in the bag. God, what kind of father can't even keep bread in the house? I tried to shake it off. "Hey," I said, trying to sound cheerful. "Maybe tonight I'll whip up my famous scrambled eggs. Extra fluffy, Chef Dad style." Her lips twitched into a real smile this time. "With ketchup." "With ketchup," I promised, though I had no idea if the bottle wasn't already empty. On the way to work, I stopped at the corner cafe. The night shift had drained me, and I needed something hot just to keep my eyes open. I counted the crumpled bills in my pocket. Enough for one small coffee and bus fare home. The line was long. I stared at the pastries behind the glass. Flaky croissants stacked like treasures I couldn't touch. Ahead of me, a woman in her 30s fumbled through her purse. Her hands shook as she dug for coins, apologizing under her breath. "I'm so sorry. I thought I had enough." The cashier sighed loudly. The people behind her shifted, impatient. I felt a familiar burn of shame, because I knew that feeling. Coming up short, being watched like you didn't belong. Before I could stop myself, I cleared my throat. "I got it." She turned, startled. "Oh, no, you don't have to." "It's fine," I muttered, sliding my last few dollars across the counter. "Just ring it up with mine." The cashier shrugged and punched the keys. The woman stared at me with wide eyes, then whispered, "Thank you." I just nodded, heat creeping up my neck. My own order was a plain black coffee. No sugar, no milk, just survival in a cup. Outside, the autumn air bit at my skin. I sipped the bitter coffee. Try not to think about how I'd just spent the bus money too. I'd walk the rest of the way. What was another mile when my whole life already felt like a marathon I couldn't finish? "Wait!" I turned. It was a woman from inside, clutching her paper cup. Her coat was nicer than anything I'd owned in years, but her eyes weren't condescending. They were searching. "You didn't have to do that," she said. I forced a weak laugh. "It was just a coffee." "Yes, but it was your money." "You!" She hesitated, like she wanted to ask me something else. I cut her off. "Don't worry about it. Really." She studied me for a moment too long. My jacket, frayed at the cuffs, the tired slump of my shoulders, the worn shoes that had carried me through too many double shifts. I shifted under her gaze, embarrassed. "I gotta go," I said quickly, adjusting the strap of my bag. Her lips parted, like she wanted to stop me, but I didn't give her the chance. I turned and started walking down the cracked sidewalk, coffee burning my hand, shame burning my chest. As I walked, my mind spun. What the hell was that? Giving away the last of my money. Now I had no idea how I'd stretch dinner. Maybe I could borrow a couple of eggs from a neighbor. Maybe I'd skip my own meal again. But then I pictured my daughter's face, that little forced smile she gave me in the morning. And I thought, If she grows up seeing her dad turn away when someone else needs help, what will that teach her? I sighed, whispering to myself, better she sees kindness, even if it costs me. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of those eyes on me. The woman's eyes, like she was memorizing me, or carrying a question she hadn't asked yet. I took another bitter sip of coffee and kept walking, the sound of her voice echoing in my head. And as I reached the corner, I swore I could feel her gaze still on my back, heavy and unrelenting. I could still feel that woman's eyes on my back as I pushed open the door to our apartment. The hallway smelled faintly of dust and boiled cabbage from a neighbor's pot. Our place wasn't much better. Paint peeling, the radiator clanking like it hated its job. But it was ours. Daddy. My daughter's voice shot through the gloom like sunlight. She ran to me, barefoot, clutching a piece of paper. You're home. Of course I'm home, I said, kneeling down. What's it you got there? She shoved the paper into my hand. A drawing. 2 stick figures holding hands. One small, one tall. Above them, a circle sun with jagged rays. That's us, she explained proudly. You and me. See? I even drew Mommy's flower necklace on you. My throat tightened. I glanced at the crooked little circle around my stick figure's neck. You remember that necklace, huh? Of course. Her smile wavered. Do you think Mommy sees my drawings? I swallowed hard. Yeah, baby. I think she sees everything. She studied my face, like she could tell I was lying to myself more than her. Then she leaned against me, whispering, I miss her. I miss her too, I said, pressing my lips to her hair. Every day, every night, and every second in between. Later, over dinner, if you could call 2 scrambled eggs dinner, she tapped her fork on the plate. Daddy, everyone in class has a new backpack. Mine's ripping. I looked at her bag slumped against the chair. The zipper dangled half broken, thread sticking out like wounds. I forced a smile. It still works, doesn't it? Kind of, she said, but sometimes the books fall out. My chest ached. God, she's just a kid. She shouldn't have to worry about things like this. I'll see what I can do, I told her. Her eyes brightened. Really? Really? I said, though in my head I was already doing the math. Rent, utilities, bus fare, food. A backpack didn't fit anywhere in the numbers. After she went to brush her teeth, I sat at the table, staring at the bills stacked in a crooked pile. Past due notices glared at me in red. My head sank into my hands. I promised her mother I'd take care of her. On that hospital bed, holding her hand, I swore I'd raise our girl right. And here I am, barely keeping the lights on. Daddy. I looked up fast, wiping my eyes. She stood in the doorway in her pajamas, holding her pillow. You okay? She asked. Yeah, baby. Just tired. She patted over and climbed into my lap, small arms circling my neck. You don't have to be strong all the time, you know. Her words stabbed and healed me at the same time. I hugged her tighter. Who told you that? You did. She giggled. Last week, when I cried because I spilled juice on my homework. I laughed softly. Guess I did. For a long moment we sat in silence, her head on my shoulder, the world outside fading. When I tucked her into bed, she whispered, Daddy. Again, yes, sweetheart. Even if my backpack rips all the way, even if we don't have eggs or ketchup, it's okay. 'Cause I have you. I couldn't answer. My chest was too full. I just kissed her forehead and pulled the blanket snug around her shoulders. She was asleep within minutes, her little hand still clutching the corner of her drawing. I stood there in the doorway, staring at her. She doesn't even know she's the only reason I'm still standing. The only reason I get up every morning. My daughter's my world. Without her, there's nothing. I turned off the light, whispering, Good night, baby girl. The next morning, the air smelled faintly of rain as I headed out. My daughter's voice still echoed in my ears, soft and steady. It's okay, 'cause I have you. I carried those words like armor as I pushed open the cafe door again, never expecting to see that same woman waiting there. The bell over the cafe door jingled as I stepped inside. I was just hoping for a quiet cup of coffee before work, but my stomach sank when I spotted her. The same woman from yesterday, already at the counter. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. "You again," she said. I tried to play it cool. "Guess this place doesn't have assigned seats." She laughed softly, then walked over, coffee in hand. "I didn't get to thank you properly yesterday." "You already did," I muttered, moving toward the corner table. But she followed, sliding into the chair across from me like we were old friends. "Still, not everyone would have done what you did." "It was just a coffee," I said. "Not to me?" I didn't answer. I sipped the bitter drink, wishing I could disappear into the steam. She leaned forward. "So do you live around here?" "Yeah." "With your family?" I hesitated. "Just me and my daughter." Her brows lifted. "How old?" "8." My jaw tightened. "Why?" "No reason," she said quickly. I like kids." "What's her name?" I shifted uncomfortably. "Why all the questions?" She smiled, almost apologetic. "You helped me when you didn't have to. I guess I just want to know the kind of man who does that." I stared at the table. The kind of man who can barely keep the lights on. The kind of man who lies awake at night wondering if he's failing his child. "My life's not that interesting," I said finally. "Trust me." She studied me for a long moment. "You look tired." I barked a laugh. "That obvious? The circles under your eyes kind of give it away," she said gently. "And your hands, they're rough. You work with them." I flexed my fingers. Cracked skin calluses. Years of janitorial shifts, warehouse work, odd jobs. "Yeah, a little of everything." She tilted her head. "That's honest work." "Or desperate work." I muttered before I could stop myself. Her eyes softened. Sometimes the two are the same. I wanted to change the subject, but she kept going. "What about your daughter? She must be proud of you." "She shouldn't have to be proud of me," I said too quickly. "She should just get to be a kid." The words hung between us. My throat tightened. "She's lucky to have you," the woman said. I shook my head. "She's lucky, sure. Lucky I can barely afford her school supplies. Lucky I come home smelling like bleach and sweat." "Hey," she interrupted gently. "Don't do that." "Do what?" "Beat yourself up for giving everything you have. That's not nothing." I stared at her, unsure why her words stung so much. Why does she care? Why is she even sitting here with me? She sipped her coffee, then said quietly, "I think there are people in this world who deserve more than life gives them." The sentence hit me like a punch to the chest. My throat burned, and for a second I couldn't breathe. Was she talking about me? Or was I just desperate enough to hear it that way? I shifted in my seat. "Look, I don't know what you're after, but—" "I'm not after anything," she said quickly. "I'd just like to see you again." That caught me off guard. "Why?" She smiled faintly. "Call it curiosity." I shook my head, grabbing my cup. "You don't need to waste your time on me." "Maybe it's not a waste," she said softly. I stood, ready to leave, but her eyes followed me again, steady, searching, like she could see right through me. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why. Her eyes followed me out of the cafe, and I carried them with me all the way to work. Why would she want to see me again? People didn't chase after men like me. They walked past. They forgot. I clocked in late and grabbed the mop. The warehouse floor stretched long under the buzzing fluorescent lights. My reflection in the wet tiles looked older than my 35 years. "Pick it up, man," the supervisor barked. "These aisles don't clean themselves." "Yeah," I muttered, dipping the mop again. If only they did. All shift, I lifted boxes, my back screaming. I stacked crates until my arms trembled. Forced smiles when customers wrinkled their noses at my sweat. Nodded when coworkers cracked jokes about my side hustle, being professional janitor. But in my head, I wasn't supposed to be here. I used to sketch bridges, draw blueprints on napkins, dream of steel and glass rising into the sky. Engineering had been my future, until the day my wife got sick. Hospital bills swallowed my textbooks. Her fading smile swallowed my ambition. And when she left this world, She took my future with her. Now, my daughter was the only blueprint I had left, the only design worth building. By the time I dragged myself home, my uniform reeked of bleach and sweat. My daughter sat cross-legged on the couch, crayons scattered around her. "You're late," she said. "Yeah, work ran long." I crouched beside her. "Whatcha drawing?" She grinned, flipping the page. A castle with a slide instead of stairs. "So you never have to walk when you're tired." I laughed, even though my legs felt like lead. "That's genius." "You think so?" "I know so. Smarter than anything I've ever seen." Her eyes sparkled. "You should build it, Daddy." My smile faltered. If only she knew. Maybe someday. Later, when I tucked her into bed, she tugged my sleeve. "Tell me a story." "Didn't I just?" I teased. "No, a real story. One you make up." I sat on the edge of her bed, racking my brain. "Okay, once upon a time, there was a knight." "With shiny armor?" she asked. "Not shiny," I said. His armor was dented, scratched, kind of falling apart, but he still wore it. She frowned. "Why?" "Because," I whispered, brushing her hair back, "he had someone small and important to protect." Her eyes softened. "Did he win?" I swallowed. Every day he got up, even when he didn't want to. That was his victory. She smiled, curling into her blanket. "I like that night." "Me too," I whispered, even if I don't believe in him half the time. When she finally drifted off, I sat in the dark beside her bed. My hands ached, my back throbbed, but it wasn't the pain that scared me. It was the silence. In the quiet, doubt screamed the loudest. "You're not enough. You'll never be enough. She deserves more. She deserves better." I pressed my palms together, staring at the ceiling. "God, if you're up there, I don't ask for much. Just let me hold on long enough to raise her right. Don't let me break before she's ready to stand on her own." The next morning, I dragged myself back into that uniform, ready for another day of sweat and stares. The mop felt heavier than usual in my hand. "Hey, you missed a spot," one of the clerks joked as he passed. "Yeah," I muttered, scrubbing harder, and then I froze. A familiar voice rang out from the front desk. Calm, clear, unmistakable. "Excuse me, I'm looking for someone." I lifted my head. It was her, the woman from the cafe, standing in my workplace. My stomach dropped. What the hell is she doing here? My mop froze mid-swipe when I saw her standing at the counter. "No, not here." She spotted me instantly. "There you are." Heat rushed up my neck. I glanced around. Co-workers already staring. "You shouldn't be here." "I brought you lunch," she said, lifting a small bag. My grip tightened on the mop handle. "I don't need charity." Her eyebrows lifted, calm as ever. "It's not charity. It's food." "Same thing." I shoved the mop back into the bucket. "People are watching." "Let them watch," she said softly. "You work hard. You deserve to eat something better than whatever comes out of a vending machine." I pulled her toward a corner, away from prying eyes. "Why are you doing this? You don't even know me." She handed me the bag anyway. Maybe that's the point. Sometimes strangers see what friends and family overlook. The smell hit me. Fresh bread, roasted chicken, something warm and real. My stomach growled, betraying me. I clenched my jaw. "You don't understand. I can't look like this. A man who needs someone to take care of him." Her gaze didn't flinch. "Maybe you don't, but maybe you deserve someone who wants to." I laughed bitterly. "You think a sandwich is going to fix my life?" "No," she said, "but maybe it makes today a little easier." For a moment, neither of us spoke. The warehouse noise filled the silence. Forklifts beeping, boxes thudding, radios buzzing. I stared at the bag in my hands, hating how heavy it felt, hating how much I wanted it. Finally, I muttered, "Why? Why me?" "Because helping you helps me too." I blinked. "What's that supposed to mean?" She hesitated, then shrugged. "Let's just say, I know what it feels like to carry more than you should. Feeding you makes me feel lighter." Her honesty knocked the wind out of me. I rubbed my forehead. This woman, she doesn't back down, does she? I tore a piece of bread, shoved it in my mouth, chewing fast so I wouldn't have to thank her. Fine. You win. She smiled. It's not a game. I pointed a finger. But this doesn't happen again. I don't want people thinking I can't take care of myself. Noted, she said. So tell me about your daughter. I froze mid-bite. My what? Your daughter? She repeated, leaning closer. You mentioned her. What's she like? I shook my head hard. No, absolutely not. Why not? Because I don't want her dragged into this. My voice came out sharper than I intended. She doesn't need pity visits from strangers. Her expression softened. I'm not here to pity you. Or her. I'm here because I want to know the people who matter to you. She's not. I stopped myself. She's not some project. She's my life. And I won't let anyone treat her like she's broken. Her eyes searched mine quietly. I never said she was. For a long second, I couldn't look at her. I stared down at the crumbs in my palm, my chest tightening. She doesn't get it. She can't. If my daughter sees someone swoop in to rescue us, what does that make me? Finally, I whispered, she's all I have. If you meet her and walk away, she'll lose more than I can give back. The woman exhaled slowly. I'm not going anywhere. I didn't believe her. People always went. The bell rang from the loading dock. Back to work. I shoved the empty bag into my locker, avoiding her eyes. Thanks. I muttered, barely audible. You're welcome, she said gently. I wanted her to leave. I wanted her to stay. Both at once. Pride burned hot in my chest, but somewhere beneath it, a dangerous question stirred. Why does she care so much? That night, as I tucked my daughter into bed, she asked, Daddy, why are you frowning? I forced a smile. Just tired. She studied me with those sharp little eyes that saw too much. Someone was nice to you today, wasn't they? My heart skipped. What makes you say that? She shrugged under the blanket. You look confused. You only look like that when someone surprises you. I chuckled, brushing her hair back. Maybe you're too smart for me. She grinned sleepily. Then you need help. Her words echoed long after she drifted off. Maybe I did. The next morning, as I wheeled the mop bucket out, I heard laughter from the front of the store. I froze. My daughter's voice. I turned the corner, and there she was, chatting with a woman, her small hand tucked trustingly in the stranger's. My stomach dropped. God help me. This is the one thing I swore I wouldn't let happen. My stomach clenched the second I saw them, my little girl's hand in hers. Daddy, my daughter called, running toward me with a woman right behind her. I crouched low, pretending calm. Sweetheart, what are you doing out here? I was waiting for you, she said, her eyes sparkling. She gave me something. I glanced at the woman. You didn't have to. It's nothing big, she interrupted gently, pulling a small sketchbook from her bag. She mentioned she likes to draw. My daughter clutched it to her chest, grinning so wide her cheeks glowed. Daddy, look. Real paper, not just scraps. The joy in her voice sliced through me. Why couldn't I give her that? Why does it take a stranger to make her smile like this? I forced a smile. It's nice. Nice? She laughed, flipping open the first page. It's amazing. She even gave me pencils. Watch, Daddy. She knelt on the curb and started sketching right there, tongue poking out in concentration. The woman watched her with quiet delight. She's talented. Look at how she notices the details. She's always been like that. I muttered, my throat tight. My daughter looked up. Do you want to see? Of course, the woman said, crouching beside her. She turned the sketch pad around. A messy little drawing of me, mop in hand, with a crooked smile. The woman laughed softly. That's pretty good. My daughter beamed. Daddy always smiles when he's tired. That's how I know he's okay. The words hit me like a punch. I swallowed hard. She notices everything, even the things I thought I hid. I cleared my throat. All right, that's enough for today. We should head home. But Daddy, no buts, I said too quickly, grabbing the sketchbook. I handed it back to the woman. She doesn't need this. My daughter's face fell. But Daddy, the woman didn't argue. She placed the sketchbook back in my girl's hands. It's hers. Let her keep it. I snapped, harsher than I meant. Why are you doing this? Because she deserves more than scraps, she said calmly. And so do you. Silence stretched between us. My daughter tugged at my sleeve. Can we show her my other drawings at home? Please. The question burned. She wanted to invite this woman in, to our space, our fragile little world. I shook my head. Not today. Her shoulders slumped. Okay. The woman gave me a steady look. I don't want to intrude, but if she ever wants to share, I'd be honored. Her gentleness only made me angrier. Why is she so calm when I'm falling apart inside? Later that night, after dinner of instant noodles, my daughter sat cross-legged on the floor, sketchbook open. Daddy, look, she said, showing me a drawing of a house. Big windows, flowers out front. That's beautiful, I said softly. It's where we'll live one day. You, me, maybe her too. My chest tightened. Sweetheart, don't say that. Why not? She asked innocently. Because she's just someone passing through. We can't count on strangers. She tilted her head. But she's nice. And she makes you smile when you don't want to. I froze. Even she noticed that? When I tucked her into bed, she hugged the sketchbook like it was treasure. Daddy, I love her gift. I kissed her forehead. I'm glad, baby. As she drifted off, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the cheap wallpaper peeling off the wall. How long can I keep pretending I can do this alone? The image of her face when she got that sketchbook wouldn't leave me. Pure joy. Joy I hadn't been able to give her in months. I whispered into quiet, I'm sorry, love. I'm trying. The next morning, I spotted the woman waiting near the cafe again. She smiled like it was the most natural thing in the world. I don't want you filling her head with promises. I told her before she could speak. I'm not making promises, she said. I just want to be around if she wants me to be. You can't just walk into someone's life and... Why not? She interrupted. Isn't that how you walked into mine? 1 cup of coffee. I had no answer. She leaned closer. Your daughter, she deserves a chance to dream. Don't take that from her, because you're afraid of me. I bristled. I'm not afraid. Aren't you? She asked softly. I didn't reply. My silence betrayed me. That evening, my daughter asked, Daddy, will she come by again? I hesitated. Maybe. Her face lit up instantly, as if that single word carried hope enough for both of us. I sat back, torn between gratitude and shame. Gratitude that my little girl finally had something new to hold on to. Shame that it hadn't come from me. What if she's right? What if strangers can get what I can't? But then another thought cut through. What if she leaves, and my daughter breaks along with me? The woman's words echoed in my head all night. Helping you helps me too. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the drip of the leaky roof tapping like a clock counting down. I couldn't stop replaying the way my daughter smiled at her, like she'd known her forever, like we were almost a family, and that terrified me more than anything, because families don't stay. The next day, when I walked into the cafe again, she was already there, waiting. This time, she didn't start with small talk. She looked me dead in the eye and said, I want to make you an offer. I laughed under my breath, though nothing about it was funny. An offer? What could you possibly want from me? She didn't flinch. Not what I want, what I want to give. I shifted uncomfortably, gripping the back of the chair. Listen, I don't take handouts. I've managed this long. I'll manage tomorrow. Her gaze was steady, almost too calm. It's not a handout. It's a chance. I should have walked away. But something in her tone pinned me to the spot. Fine, I muttered. Say what you came to say. She leaned forward. My name isn't just Claire. I own Horizon Tech. I froze. My chest tightened. Horizon Tech. The same company I once dreamed of working for. The one I'd studied late nights for before life tore everything apart. You own it? My voice cracked. She nodded. Started from nothing. Grew it brick by brick. And I've been watching you, not just a day. The way you work. The way you love your daughter. You remind me of me before I made it. I shook my head, backing up. This is insane. Why would someone like you care about someone like me? Because I see potential where others see failure. Her eyes softened. I want to offer you a position at my company. Training, support, everything you need to rebuild a career you wanted. And more than that, security for your daughter. My fists clenched. You think you can just buy me? Fix my life with money? She didn't blink. No, but I can open a door you thought was locked forever. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. My pride roared inside me. I've worked every damn night to keep food on the table. I've bled for every dollar. If I take her offer, am I even a man anymore? I whispered, more to myself than her, I don't need your fortune. She answered quietly, maybe not, but your daughter does. Her words hit me like a hammer. That night, I sat on the edge of my daughter's bed, the glow of her nightlight painting shadows on the wall. She held her sketchbook, doodling before sleep. Daddy, she asked softly. Yeah, baby? She told me she can help you. Is that true? I exhaled slowly. She wants to, but I don't know if I can let her. Why not? Because it feels wrong. Like I'm not strong enough on my own. She tilted her head. But Daddy, you're the strongest person I know. Letting someone help doesn't make you weak. It just makes us less alone. Her words shattered me. I tried to hide the tremor in my voice. Do you really think we need her? She nodded firmly. I think we need hope. And you smile more when she's around. I like that. Tears burned my eyes. I kissed her forehead, whispering, I promise your mom I protect you. I don't know if I'm breaking that promise or keeping it. She squeezed my hand, her voice barely above a whisper. Daddy, please. The next day, I met Claire again, heart pounding like a drum. I can't just say, yes, I started. You don't know the things I've failed at, the dreams I buried. What if I let you down? Her expression softened. Then you'll learn, and you'll try again. That's what strength looks like. I clenched my jaw. And what about pity? Because that's what this feels like. It's not pity, she said firmly. It's recognition. You fought with scraps, and you're still standing. Imagine what you could do with the right tools. I looked at her, searching for lies, for hidden motives. But all I saw was truth, and maybe something else. A strange kind of respect. I closed my eyes, hearing my daughter's voice echo in my mind. Daddy, please. When I opened them again, I let out the breath I've been holding for years. All right, I'll try. For her. Claire's lips curved into the faintest smile. Good. That's all I ask. Walking home later, my daughter ran into my arms. Did you say yes? She asked eagerly. I nodded, my throat tight. I said yes. She squealed, wrapping her little arms around my neck. I knew you would. Her joy melted my fear. For the first time in years, the weight on my shoulders lifted, even if just a little. Maybe pride had kept me alive this long. But love might finally let me live. That night, as my daughter fell asleep humming softly, I sat by the window staring at the city lights. A new path had opened, terrifying, uncertain, but real. I whispered into the dark, almost like a prayer. This is for you, sweetheart. And for her too, watching from above. For the first time in forever, the future didn't feel like a dead end. It felt like a door wide open, and I had just stepped through. I stared out the window that night, city lights blinking back at me, and whispered, this is for you, sweetheart, and for her too. The next morning, I walked through the doors of Horizon Tech. My palms were sweaty, my shirt collar stiff, but my heart was steady for the first time in years. A receptionist greeted me. Mr. Ramirez? Yeah, I muttered, adjusting my worn jacket. She smiled warmly. We've been expecting you. Expecting me. Not pitying me. Not laughing at me. Expecting me. Claire appeared moments later. sharp yet kind in her suit. You showed up, she said simply. I nodded, told you I would. But I'm here to work, not to be someone's project. Her smile deepened. Good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. The hours blurred. Training manuals, software screens, endless notes. My head ached, but it wasn't a dull ache of exhaustion. It was a fire of learning again. At lunch, I called my daughter. Hey, baby girl, how's school? She squealed. Daddy, guess what? I got a backpack. A real one, with zippers that actually work. My chest tightened. You did. Claire gave it to me, she said proudly. It's pink, my favorite. I bit my lip. Part of me wanted to tell her we didn't accept gifts like that, but another part saw her joy for what it was, innocent, pure. That's great, sweetheart, I said softly. You deserve it. That night, she twirled around the living room with the backpack strapped on. Do I look like a real student now? I laughed for the first time in a long while. You've always been one, the smartest one. She leaned against me, quiet for a moment. Daddy, are we happy now? Her question broke me. Tears filled my eyes before I could hide them. Yeah, baby, we're happy. And maybe, just maybe, I was starting to believe it. Later, when she fell asleep with the backpack beside her like a pillow, I sat in the dark, whispering into the silence. Maria, I kept my promise. I didn't let her fall. I thought I failed you, but maybe I didn't. The memory of my wife's last smile flickered in my mind. The hospital smell, her hand slipping from mine, the weight of that vow pressing on my chest for years. And now, here I was, still standing, not alone anymore. The next week at work, Claire stopped by my desk. How's the training? Overwhelming, I admitted, but it feels good, like I'm building something again. That's because you are, she said, not just a career. A future. I looked at her carefully. Why me? Because you gave when you had nothing left, she answered. That tells me everything I need to know. Her words sank deep, heavier than any paycheck. One evening, walking home with my daughter's hand in mine, she skipped along, humming. You're smiling again, Daddy, she said. I chuckled. Guess I am. She squeezed my hand. Then I don't care if we have a big house or not. As long as you smile, we're rich. Her innocence healed wounds I thought would never close. That night, I sat by her bed after tucking her in. She mumbled sleepily, I love you, Daddy. I love you more, I whispered. As her breathing slowed, I looked around the small apartment. The cracks in the walls were still there. The leaky roof still dripped when it rained. But my heart wasn't cracked anymore. I thought back to that morning at the cafe, the jangling coins, the last few dollars I let go, the stranger fumbling for change. That cup of coffee felt like a loss at the time, but it wasn't. It was the beginning. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness opens the biggest doors. And that day, I thought I was losing everything. Instead, I found a future.